My ex-girlfriend Nguyen could never have dreamed that right when her massive world art tour was getting incredibly famous, making serious waves everywhere, my doctor was actually handing me an absolute ultimatum. If the infection in my eyes kept getting any worse, I'd have to get surgery to remove my eyes entirely. So, trying to scrape together cash for treatment, I hugged my beat-up old guitar right by the subway entrance and played. But security thought I was blocking the path, swinging a stick to chase me off. Now watch this. Nguyen actually stepped in. She stepped right out of the dazzling spotlight, standing face to face with me. You broke up with me for a dream, singing for 8 whole years, and eventually went from a tiny rented room to busking at a subway station. I tried to suppress my twitching from the sharp pain in my eyes, forcing a smile. Nguyen, since you're so rich now, want to invest in me? I promise you, my next track is gonna be a massive hit. Nguyen took a deep breath. She dropped 2 words, hopeless case, then turned away and left. She had absolutely no idea that back then, when she got that eye disease and lost her vision, I was the one who gave her my own corneas. Next morning, boom, a totally random transfer of 50,000 yuan drops into my account. Right after that, a heavy knock at my door. Hello, Mr. T, I'm Nguyen's manager. Miss Elm wants to officially invite you to compose the theme song for her upcoming art exhibition. The deposit has already been sent over. These are the signature pieces of the exhibition for your reference. A few large oil paintings were brought inside, leaving absolutely zero space to step in my cramped rental. I fumbled around, searching for Nguyen's name online while the cold virtual assistant's voice rang out. It described her paintings as having exquisite details and vibrant colors. But no matter how hard I tried to widen my eyes, all I could actually see were a few blurry patches of light. I thought for a moment, then transferred the 50,000 yuan right back. 3 whole days later, her manager called to check on the progress. I just chuckled quietly to myself and told him, come take the paintings away. I'd refund the deposit, taking the 7 yuan of interest from my savings. I bought a basic box of anti-inflammatory meds, struggling incredibly hard to grope my way out into the hallway. Suddenly, I heard a very familiar voice. It's just picking up a painting. I can easily go do it. Isn't doing these kinds of chores exactly why I'm your assistant? Nguyen replied, alright fine. You've been working way too hard lately, so I'm giving you the day off. Tell me what you want to eat. I'll bring it back. Everyone knows Nguyen and her assistant are basically a perfect match made in heaven. Seeing it with my own eyes today, the rumors are definitely true. I couldn't hide anymore, so I pulled back my walking stick and stepped firmly forward. You're here. I already packed the paintings outside. Nguyen stepped closer, her voice dripping with absolute, icy coldness. Weren't you just begging me for an investment? Then why aren't you writing the song for me? I swallowed hard, lowering my head to entirely avoid her gaze. Your paintings mean absolutely nothing. They don't deserve my song. Nguyen got so incredibly furious that she actually started laughing. TVN, why are you still pretending to be so noble? She lightly kicked the door of my rundown rental room, her tone full of heavy mockery, acting all arrogant. Aren't you desperately short on cash? You can feel the tension here, right? I gripped the doorknob tightly and whispered, yeah, I'm broke. Because of that, if you want me to write music, you have to pay extra 300,000 yuan per song. Saying that, I turned around to go inside, but she grabbed my wrist tight. Her hand burned hot, making me subconsciously turn my head to look. But in my eyes, the dozen stares right in front of me looked like a monster hiding inside the shadows. Using all my strength, finger by single finger, I pried Nguyen's hand away. Take care, I'm not seeing you out. The door slammed shut, serving as my final answer to her. My hearing is extremely sharp, even hiding completely under my blankets. I could clearly hear every single sound downstairs. A frantic voice echoed up from below. Let me do it. I'll do it. Please be careful not to bump yourself. Who does this guy think he is, daring to reject an invitation from the great artist Nguyen? Zero foresight. Nguyen answered so indifferently. Just a dirt poor loser with the pride that reaches all the way up to the sky. After saying that, she lightly punched Tiang Hoang's shoulder. Didn't I tell you to stay home and get some good rest? Why did you run over here looking for me? I'm so hungry now. Can we go eat steak tonight? The two of them laughed happily, getting into the car and leaving. My chest felt agonizingly heavy, hurting so much. Cold sweat poured out all over me, making it feel like I was right back in that brilliant summer years ago. trying to earn money for my high school tuition. I worked a grueling construction job for 2 whole months. By opening day, both my hands were covered in awful blisters, raw and heavily scraped. Luen was my desk mate back then. She blushed bright red and shoved a huge pile of healing ointment into my hands. Once the big college entrance exams finally ended, we confessed our feelings to each other. Throughout 4 years of college, I worked myself to the bone, saving up every single penny, just desperately hoping that after graduating, we could rent a place and live together. But day 3 of moving in, Luen suddenly burst into tears, telling me she couldn't see anything anymore. Right at that exact moment, her parents suddenly went bankrupt, losing everything literally overnight. The massive cost for a cornea transplant was impossibly high. I threw myself into working day and night, sleeping only 3 or 4 hours, not even daring to eat or drink properly. Dozens of days later, I lapsed from pure exhaustion. Counting the tiny bit of salary in my hands, it was still just a drop in the ocean. The doctor warned that if I couldn't scramble together enough money for the surgery, they'd demand her discharge. Luen curled up in my arms, trying her hardest to act strong. It's totally fine, TVN. Even a blind person can still be a painter. I can just feel my way around to paint. My heart fiercely ached for Luen. Uen couldn't lose her sight. That night, T took out a massive, high-interest loan to cover the surgery fees. The doctor said his cornea was a perfect match. He figured he had 2 eyes anyway, so giving her one was fine. But fate played a cruel joke on them. The surgery ended up failing completely. Her intraocular pressure spiked way too high, compressing her cranial nerves and sending Luen into a deep coma. Finding another suitable cornea wouldn't be easy, but he just couldn't wait any longer. It was fine, he thought. He still had one good eye left. Suddenly, his phone rings, shattering the memory. The landlord is back, demanding the rent. It sounds like a bad joke. 400 yuan a month for rent, and he somehow can't even afford that. This blind screen reader is frustrating to use. He taps the phone a few times. He originally just wanted to check his bank balance, but somehow, without even thinking, he clicks right into her social media profile. She always worried she couldn't sing well, while he was secretly afraid he would get completely addicted to that voice. The virtual assistant's cold, robotic tone rings out. All those emotional words are read aloud, sounding incredibly dry, hollow, and totally lifeless. He cranks the screen brightness all the way up to the absolute maximum, barely making out Luen's incredibly bright, radiant smile. Thong is holding the mic, singing with everything he has. The two of them are holding hands, looking so sweet together, a genuinely perfect match. T's throat tightens. He forces down the bitter feeling. Whatever, stop thinking about it. The most important thing right now is just making some money. The next day, he rushes over to the subway station to set up his busking spot. The weather is great today. He readies his guitar, and soon, a decent crowd gathers to watch. After a busy day, he actually makes 80 yuan. He is almost happy enough to jump for joy. But right then, his phone rings out of nowhere, freezing him right in his tracks. "Hello, Mr. T," the voice says. "We noticed a few stains on the painting. The very painting you returned. This is the exact piece that made Luen famous. Based on the current market value of this artwork, you will need to pay 100,000 yuan for restoration costs. Please transfer it to the designated account within 60 days. T's head feels like it might actually explode. His hands break out in a cold sweat, barely able to hold the phone. To think that painting was actually the very masterpiece that built her fame. They say she stayed awake for 7 days straight just to finish drawing it. T opens his mouth, his voice shaking. Are the stains really that bad? Is the chance of fixing it high? The agent goes quiet for a moment, then lets out a long sigh. Honestly, Miss Luen, she is a very easygoing person. It is really just a little dust. How about I help you set up a meeting? You could speak to her, face to face. So that was it. T lets out a self-deprecating laugh, cutting them off instantly. No need. I will pay the 100,000 yuan. That money could buy him anti-inflammatory meds for a lifetime. Thinking about the medicine, his aching eye twitches non-stop. The pain pierces straight through to his bones. But this is the exact path he chose for himself. He has absolutely no right to complain about it. Now, listen closely to how this all started. 8 years ago, Luen's first transplant failed. The doctor warned that using an artificial cornea could trigger bad reactions. A much more severe rejection response followed, and her eyes just couldn't handle any more damage. T sat right there by her bedside for the entire night. He finally made the choice to donate his one remaining cornea. Luckily, that second surgery turned out to be an absolute, massive success. El-Mu'i slowly recovered. Meanwhile, T signed himself up for a clinical trial testing out a brand new type of artificial cornea. The risks of this experiment were huge, but at least it didn't cost a dime. One day post-surgery, he suffered some severe complications. The treatment fees weren't insanely high, but he had a problem. He honestly just couldn't afford them. While he was agonizingly wrestling with the pain, El-Mu'i was eagerly counting down the days until her bandages came off. She told him that once her eyes healed, they would travel all across the country together. They would finally get to see the whole wide world. He smiled and agreed, but his eyes never dared to leave her for even a second. He greedily wanted to carve every single feature of her beautiful face, and every expression right into his mind, until eventually El-Mu'i just became a blurry, hazy shape in his vision. That was the exact moment he knew for sure. His time was up. He stuffed all his remaining spare change into her wallet and walked away without saying a single word of goodbye. It was the only way. Only by doing this could El-Mu'i live a truly good life. She loved him deeply. If she ever found out her light was bought with his massive sacrifice, she would definitely break down completely. He didn't want her spending her whole life trapped in guilt and torment. The very next morning, El-Mu'i called him. On the phone, she was crying so tragically it tore his heart apart. He pulled out the script he had prepared, reading it to her word for word. El-Mu'i, these past few years beside you, been so exhausted. You wanted to be an artist, so I worked myself to the bone buying your paints. But I am tired now. I do not want to support you anymore. I actually have my own dreams to chase. I want to become a famous singer. This part is just crushing. El-Mu'i panicked. I will support whatever you want to do. Let me make money to take care of you, okay? He gritted his teeth, his fingers shaking wildly. But I don't want to carry a burden, he said. El-Mu'i's voice shifted instantly. What did you just say? T took a breath, reading that final line. I am going to be an idol soon. If my fans ever find out that I have a disabled partner, my image will be ruined. Smack! The phone dropped to the ground. A heavy, terrifying silence surrounded them both. And just like that, it was entirely over. He and El-Mu'i cut off all contact. After that, she climbed step by step to the very peak of the art world, while his vision just grew more and more blind. No one would even hire him to wash dishes. He could only busk on the streets to survive. Their lives drifted further apart. But maybe it was better this way. If he had stubbornly stayed by El-Mu'i's side, the one trapped in the abyss right now would be her. I can't survive alone anymore. So I call up Tran Trash, asking him to help me find a job. He actually manages a local bar, using his connections to set me up as a resident singer. $300 a day just to sing. That night, I head to the club. But before I even hit the stage, the boss pulls me into a private room. His tone is dripping with pure disgust. He sneers. I would never hire a blind guy like you without Tran Trash. Don't cause trouble, or you both get tossed out. I just keep nodding. My stomach is doing flips. As long as I behave and sing, everything will be totally fine. But of course, my luck is awful. The VIP room suddenly demands a good-looking guy to sing. The bar barely has any male staff who can actually hold a tune. So the manager points right at me to fill in. I have zero leverage here, so I can't refuse. Frowning, I put on this thin, almost see-through shirt. I push the door open. The flashing lights instantly make my already weak eyes sting, but I still spot her immediately. Lam-in. She's wearing a backless red dress covered in sequins, shining like a literal galaxy. It makes her look absolutely breathtaking. Tong Hong is holding a drink, leaning against her, laughing happily. I quickly pull my face mask up and quietly step back into the lineup, praying no one notices me. But then Tong Hong suddenly speaks up. Hey, you in the mask, hiding in the back. Come over here and sing for us. Everyone turns to stare, clearing a path right to me. Stiffly, I have no choice but to grab the mic. I cue up a few tracks. They are all crazy difficult songs with insanely high notes. I grit my teeth and manage to sing 2 lines. Then he stops me. Why are you singing with a mask on? I can hardly hear you. Take it off right now. I stand up, totally anxious. Getting up, I accidentally kick a bottle by my feet. The leftover alcohol splashes everywhere. Tong Hong's expensive shoes are instantly soaked in liquor. He swings his leg and kicks me right in the knee. The blinding pain forces me to collapse, my whole body turning ice cold. He leans in, A dark, mocking smirk spreads across his face as he whispers in my ear, "Lick it clean." My ears burn hot. I bite my lip, frozen. Losing his patience, Tong Hong stomps down hard on my foot, grabs a glass bottle, and swings it right at my head. Acting on pure instinct, I brace myself for the brutal impact. Now watch this. The hit never comes. I finally open my eyes to look. Lam In actually blocked the bottle. She gives a faint smile. "It is just a pair of shoes. I will buy you much better ones later." Her voice sounds like she is coaxing a child. "Today is our 5-year anniversary, so let's just be happy." I quickly drop my head down, but it's too late. Lam In already recognizes me. The softness in her eyes vanishes instantly, replaced by a cold, mocking smirk. She just claps her hands. "Well everyone, looks like we are in for a real treat tonight. I can't believe a $300 singer graced us with his presence." Tong Hong acts like he just had a massive realization and quickly pulls me up. "Oh wow, it is Ta Van. I seriously did not recognize you earlier. Didn't you dump Lam In so you could go become some huge superstar? Why are you pouring drinks in a dingy bar now?" The entire room suddenly goes dead silent. Everyone just stares coldly at this pathetic joke. And then, the mocking laughter starts echoing all around me. I heard when Lam In was struggling back then, he walked out on her without a word. Claimed he was chasing his big singing dream. Hilarious. So his grand singing dream was just being a male host in a sketchy bar? Obviously. And I also heard that he actually busks at the subway station every single day. Free bucks. And you can hear him scream his lungs out. He's totally broke and completely pathetic. I feel so bad for Lam In, getting harassed by her ex-boyfriend on her special day. Lam In crosses her arms, leaning back with a smirk. "Hear that? You completely ruined everyone's mood tonight. So tell me, how are you gonna fix this?" I take a deep breath, feeling like I've hit an absolute dead end. "I'll drink a glass as my apology to everyone here." Lam In's face immediately darkens at my words. She knows I have a severe stomach condition. I have never touched a single drop of alcohol before. Staying silent, I just pop open a bottle and chug it down. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot the manager slipping out the back, probably calling for backup. The bottle is empty. My stomach burns like absolute fire. Lam In glares at me and laughs. "Great job, Ta Van. Today I'll let you drink until you drop. You feel the tension here, right?" She waves her hand, and someone brings over a massive glass vase. Strong liquor, beer, white wine, sweet spirits. They pour it all in. Only when it overflows does she finally signal them to stop. "Drink it. Finish this, and your debt is clear." Downing that toxic mix would completely destroy my body. The bar owner rushes in, takes one look at the scene, and completely panics. This kid had eye surgery before, so his brain is probably a little messed up too. "I honestly have no idea how he offended you, but I failed to train him properly. I am so sorry. Tonight's bill is totally on the house. Just please calm down and let him go." Hearing the word surgery, Lam In frowns slightly. I breathe a quiet sigh of relief, but Tong Hong suddenly runs over, clinging to Lam In's arm with a sweet voice. "Honey, Ta Van messed up, but he's basically our benefactor. If he hadn't walked out on you back then, we never would have gotten together. So baby, calm down, and just let this go." When it comes to adding fuel to the fire, Tong Hong is a total master. Lam In's face instantly darkens. She's remembering what happened 8 years ago when I abandoned her, right as she fell severely ill. The atmosphere in the room instantly drops to freezing cold. I just give a faint smile and raise the liquor bottle. If I down this entire thing, does that 100,000 debt get completely wiped clean? N's body trembles slightly. She grips the chair so hard her fingertips turn completely pale. I just wait quietly for an answer. After all, 100,000 to me is an absolute astronomical number right now. Finally, Elmuian grits her teeth and spits out her answer, wiped completely clean. I just smile, taking it down. Gulp. By agonizing gulp. The high alcohol content completely torches my mouth and throat, hitting my stomach and twisting into this insane, knife-like pain. Cold sweat starts pouring down, soaking my entire body. I can barely hold on anymore, but the liquor bottle is only about a third empty. Elmui's expression actually starts to relax. She asks if I can't drink anymore. I let out a harsh hiccup, staring at her with total hazy eyes. I just need a bathroom break to throw up, then I will keep going. Saying that, I stagger toward the door, clumsily tripping over my own 2 feet and falling completely flat on the floor. Laughter immediately erupts all around the room. But then a sudden, massive crash echoes out, and the entire place goes absolutely dead silent. Nguyen is gripping a smashed half of a liquor bottle. Glass is everywhere. She yells at me. I tell you to drink, and you just obey? For some cash you really have absolutely zero pride left? Would it hurt so much to just bow your head to me for once? Pain makes me completely curl up. Then the main door gets shoved violently open. Turnturch rushes inside, glaring at Nguyen. He wants to tear her apart. TVN literally gave you his corneas back then, and this is how you decide to repay him. Nguyen just freezes in pure shock. After a long moment, she slowly sits down, her trembling fingertips reaching out to gently take off my dark sunglasses. I can practically feel her shaky breath right on my face. I kept this hidden from Nguyen for 8 whole years, but this time, let's pause right here. This is huge. I suddenly don't want to hide it anymore. If she finally knows the truth, maybe she will actually hug me. It has been so long since anyone has ever held me. But that flicker of panic in Nguyen's eyes, it vanishes instantly. She just steps back, every single word landing like a direct stab to my heart. TVN, to scam me for money, you really make up the wildest lies. I lean heavily on Turnturchi's shoulder, struggling just to stand up. Nguyen is actually right. In her eyes, I'm just some overly ambitious guy who worships wealth and totally looks down on the poor. Completely heartless. Back in the day, just to chase my own foolish dream, I ruthlessly dumped her right while she was bedridden from a horrible illness, without a single ounce of pity. Now that I am totally ruined, for cash and this so-called singing dream, of course, I would do literally anything. Turch can't stand it anymore. He steps up to tear into Nguyen, but I quickly pull him back. I give a broken smile, my voice totally shaking. Wow, you actually guessed right. So for the sake of all the crazy effort I put into acting, can you just hand over 300,000? Give me the cash, and I will instantly get lost. I promise I will never bother you again. Nguyen is so absolutely furious she can't even speak. Her gaze drops right back down to my dark sunglasses. Thong rolls his eyes dramatically, immediately shoving his phone right into Nguyen's face. He says, honey, just looked it up, and there is absolutely zero record of any eye hospital visit, cornea transplant surgery. He is definitely just trying to con you. I open my mouth to speak, but somehow, an O sound comes out at all. All these past years, just to save money, I only ever dared to visit tiny, sketchy underground clinics. The big hospital eye departments charge $20 just to register. How could I ever afford that? Nguyen just takes a heavy step backward, her face filled with pure, absolute disgust. I never thought you would become something this pathetic. I just swallowed down the burning bitterness inside my chest, giving a shrug. To play it completely cool. I have always been like this. Did you seriously never notice before? Wow, you really were pretty foolish then. With every single word I say, Nguyen's face gets noticeably darker, her rage basically ready to erupt. Right on cue, Thong acts like the perfect good guy. Honey, TVN is pushing himself this far just for his singing dream. Why don't we actually give him a little bit of help? Nguyen furiously grits her teeth together. Help him? Doesn't he just want money? You kneel right here for an hour. I will give you 10 grand. Kneel for 10 hours. I will hand over 100,000. I look over where Nguyen is pointing. The floor is totally covered in shattered glass. Kneeling on that? I can't even dare to imagine it. Turnturch grips my arm tightly, his voice completely hoarse. Don't do it. I just shake my head, slowly pull away, and walk straight toward the glass. I instantly drop to my knees. The sharp shards slice right through my jeans, digging deep into my skin. My knees ache, my stomach burns, my eyes sting. I bite my lip hard, locking every single groan behind my teeth. Within seconds, the carpet gets stained with 2 awful dark red patches. Nguyen. You can feel the tension snapping here. She curses loudly, aggressively, yanking the tablecloth and sending glasses shattering everywhere. I have literally never seen her lose control like this publicly. Still, I manage a weak smile. Miss Elm, can you advance me 50 grand right now? If I don't see the cash, my mind just won't be at peace. Nguyen's mouth just twitches. Her lips part like she wants to say something back, but I don't catch a single word. Because in the exact next second, the pain completely knocks me out cold. In my days, I faintly hear someone screaming. What a mess. Somebody in really bad shape here. Turnturch forcefully hits a pressure point to wake me up, grabs me, and rushes straight for the emergency room. When I finally wake up again, my whole body feels totally crushed. My limbs are numb, only my right hand has any strength left, and it is gripping a bank card tight. I force myself up, nervously asking Turnturch, did I drag you down with me? Did the bar owner cause any huge trouble for you? Turnturch sighs in relief, just lie still. Does your stomach still completely ache right now? How are your eyes even doing? The bar owner was terrified out of his mind by your stunt. He definitely wasn't thinking about coming after me. I softly exhale with pure relief, giving no actual answer. I just raise the bank card and wave it around. How long was I kneeling anyway? Don't tell me I earned absolutely nothing. Turnturch is practically fuming with anger now. Cash, 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 it is all you ever think about. He raises his fist to punch me, but looking at my entire body is completely battered. I sigh. He hands me 50,000, telling me to hold on to it tight. But still, I really do not get why you will not tell Nguyen the truth. You two keep arguing is exhausting. I just smile. Silence. When I left her back then, I already imagined the absolute worst case scenario. People can call me a foolishly devoted guy. That is totally fine. They can say I'm torturing myself, and I do not care. I just want Nguyen to live a peaceful, free life. Some burdens are way too heavy. They should never be placed on her shoulders. During those hospital days, Turnturch runs to the doctor daily. I ask about it. He always dodges the question, but I know the real truth. My eyes have been sick for way too long. The condition has likely spread and turned into a severe brain infection. I really do not have much time left. Turnturch wants to borrow money for my surgery, but I hide it from him and secretly process my own discharge papers. I know my own body well. There is no need for any more suffering. Turnturch stays quiet, just silently handing over to me a thermos filled with chicken soup simmered for 3 solid hours. Leaving the hospital, I head straight to the store and buy myself a brand new outfit. Well, do I look handsome in this? Turnturch criticizes it out loud, but his eyes are completely red. I tell him to wait until my life is over, then take my ashes and pour them down the sewer. While I am still here, I never got to see the beautiful landscapes of our country. Once my time is up, I will definitely travel all 4 oceans and have fun. Turnturch curses at me, calling it a terrible omen. He says, you want to be romantic, right? I will throw you a proper sea burial. Who in their right mind pours someone down the drain? You are absolutely impossible to deal with. I just laugh and pat his shoulder. You do not get it. Sea burials cost thousands. Besides, the sewer drain eventually flows straight out into the ocean. Anyway, it is all the same. You just flush the toilet, and it is done. Fast and convenient. Turnturch laughs out of anger. He laughs, then starts crying again. That night, Turnturch insists I sleep over at his place. He says he wants to walk with me until the very end. We have been best friends for 10 years. Yet this is the first time I have seen him act so cheesy. I originally planned to just peacefully wait for my end, but the next morning, I had a call from Tnho. Discharged already? Then get out. How much longer do you plan to stay in this city? So incredibly blunt, not a single wasted word. I find it kind of funny and reply wanting me gone so badly. I wonder what exactly you are so afraid of. Those words strike a nerve with Tnho. His voice suddenly shoots up in pitch. He yells, Vn, stop beating around the bush with me. If you feel so wronged, go tell Nguyen the truth. Do you really think she is going to believe you? In her eyes, you are nothing but a plaything. We are getting married next month. Why are you still clinging on and refusing to leave? Who are you trying to disgust? Turns out, even a mere plaything is a serious threat to Tnho. I am guessing that over these past few days, both he and Nguyen have been lost in their own thoughts, unable to even sleep well. Tnho is naturally vicious. Forcing me to leave right now definitely means that being close to Nguyen keeps him from acting out. But the second I step outside her sphere of influence, all he has to do is lift a finger, and he could wipe me out without a trace. I'm already nearing the end anyway, but I still do not want to go out in such a tragic way. I hang up, too lazy to argue with Tnho. But 3 days later, Turnturch goes out to work and does not come home all night. A really bad feeling surges up in my chest. I wait until morning, and then I suddenly receive an anonymous video. I have to squint for a long time before recognizing the person in the video is Turnturch. Like a lightning bolt to the ears, I immediately call straight to Tnho. What exactly do you want? If you have a problem, aim at me, do not touch him. Thong laughs coldly. Why so in a rush? Now watch closely. I only forced a little liquor down his throat. Panicking this much over that? If I, actually, use all my tricks, what will you do? The one who causes trouble must bear it. Turch threw himself into danger for me, so I simply cannot drag him down. I will leave. Thong laughs, completely smug. The plane ticket is already booked. It is a direct flight straight to the distant border, departing in 6 hours. I try my absolute best to stay calm, leaving a long letter for Turch. With his incredibly hot temper, if he ever found out the truth, he would definitely risk his life fighting. Thong. In the letter, I just say that I want to walk the rest of my days alone. I do not mention anything else. Stepping out of the apartment complex, I'm startled to find that a massive snowstorm actually hit. Last night, the ground is covered in thin ice. The freezing wind slaps my face like a knife. A faint cat meow gets drowned out by the wind, sounding like a tiny, blurry noise. I tilt my head to listen closely. I realize the sound is coming right from the middle of the street. Taking advantage of the empty road, I quickly run over. But here is the twist. Right as I grab the cat, a deafening brake screech rushes straight toward me. Before I can even react, a massive impact sends me flying 7 or 8 meters. The driver quickly gets out to check, but the second they see me, they drop to the ground in total panic. TVN. Why is it you? I know this voice so incredibly well. It is Elm. I'm quickly taken to the emergency room. When I wake up, my body is covered in tubes. Both my legs are locked in heavy casts, completely unable to move even an inch. I hear the doctor out in the hallway talking to Elm. It was originally just an eye infection. If he had persistently treated it for a few months, he could have recovered. But the patient, likely due to severe financial struggles, spent all this time just taking cheap antibiotics and basic painkillers to hold on. The condition has dragged on to this critical point. There's really no need to continue treatment anymore. Elm. She suddenly raises her voice. What do you mean? Isn't it just an infection? Use the best medicine. I have money. Just cure him. The doctor sighs, keeping a totally calm tone. Miss Lam, please rest assured. We are doctors. We will absolutely do our best for him. But there are illnesses that money just can't fix. Lam isn't having any of it. She punches the wall hard, shouting if Tavan doesn't make it, I'll make this entire hospital go down with him. This is a private hospital funded by Lam, so no matter how loud she screams, nobody dares to stop her. She only stops when she's exhausted, her voice completely hoarse. When Lam finally walks into the room, her head is bowed low, hands gripping my health report, shaking uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Tavan. I'm so sorry. Why didn't you tell me the truth sooner? I'm truly devastated. In just a single night, Lam looks like she aged 10 years. But every single injury on my body right now was inflicted by her own hands. Hearing Lam's apology, I feel absolutely nothing at all. I just ask her, is the cat still alive? Lam freezes. It takes her a while to respond. It's still alive. I took it to the vet clinic. I give a faint smile. That's good. Thank you for bringing me to this hospital. I smoothly dodge the glass of water Lam offers, pouring myself another warm cup instead. Her arm just hangs there in midair, and incredibly awkward and helpless. After a long, heavy silence, she finally speaks up to me. I really had no idea how much you've suffered these past few years. It's all because of Tong Hong. He always told me that my corneas were found by him spending his entire fortune. I always genuinely thought Tong Hong was my true savior. So please don't worry, we'll definitely make Tong Hong pay the ultimate price. Hearing these words, my mind is a complete mess. There are so many things I want to say, but I just don't know where to start. If Lam really cared, I could never have hidden the truth from her in the first place. Makes you wonder, right? With her connections, a simple investigation would have revealed everything. Yet for years, she let herself be completely fooled by Tong Hong's sweet talk. At this point, there is no need to dump all the blame on Tong Hong anymore. Maybe out of deep guilt for her actions, Lam stays by my side day and night, refusing to leave, even when chased away. But I'm the one breaking down first. Back then, to earn money to cure Lam's illness, I often ate just one meal a day. Over time, I developed severe stomach issues. Constant dull aches and terrible stomach cramps had eventually become my daily routine, being forced to drink a whole belly of alcohol. That day was the final Straw. The doctor checks my stomach and finds more than 2 severe lesions. In the end, there's absolutely no other choice but a total removal. With no stomach left, I can only survive on nutrient fluids, sitting completely alone on the hospital bed every day. I'd rather just give up entirely. Next up are my eyes, which have been exhausted for a long time. The whole world in front of me sinks into total darkness. That day, Lam In cries uncontrollably, wanting me to see the light again. She kidnaps Tong Hong to the hospital, forcing the doctor to take his corneas for my transplant. The doctor is helpless. Miss Lam, the patient's eyes have been infected for way too long and can't take any more stimulation. If we force the surgery, it might not cure his eyes and could actually be incredibly dangerous. She doesn't get the corneas, but she terrifies Tong Hong out of his mind. Catching Lam In off guard, he quickly grabs tens of millions and flies a private jet to escape overseas. But unexpectedly, he actually runs into a massive aviation accident. His whole body is completely destroyed in the crash, leaving absolutely nothing behind. Hearing that Tong Hong is gone, I actually feel a rare moment of joy. But that tiny bit of happiness doesn't last long at all. Just a few days later, my brain suffers a severe infection and finally just shuts down completely. In my final fading moments, I call up Tran Trach. He grips my arm tightly, his eyes red and swollen like bruised peaches. Do you know how long I've been looking for you? You heartless fool. You said we'd stick together forever as brothers, yet you're leaving all by yourself. He takes a deep breath, finally giving a bitter smile. Fine, then. When you get down there, make lots of money. I'll come down and mooch off you later. Lam In can't stand steadily anymore, dropping to her knees beside me. Tavan, can you ever forgive me? Using the very last bit of my strength, I managed to give her a faint smile. I never hated you, so there's really nothing to forgive. Lam In's eyes light up. Really? I just smile without answering her. The flash of hope in her eyes instantly fades away. No more hate, no more love. Lam In and I have finally settled all our debts. The very end comes quietly, without a single sound. But get this, I never expected I'd have the chance to open my eyes again. Waking up once more, Tran Trach's hair is totally gray. The calendar on the phone tells me 10 whole years have passed. He gestures for half a day before I finally understand. It turns out that after I was gone, Lam In spent her entire fortune to put me in the most advanced cryogenic chamber abroad. While I slowly drifted into an eternal sleep, she bravely donated all of her own usable organs, including her entire nervous system, just desperately waiting for the day when medical science advanced enough to transplant them all into my body. Now, half of me is myself, and the other half is Lam In. I look out the window, gazing at the brightly blooming trees. Suddenly, precious memories pull me right back to that summer when she and I first confessed our true feelings. The falling petals back then looked exactly like this moment. In a split second, my tears fall like absolute rain. After leaving the hospital, I become a traveler with a backpack on my shoulders, freely roaming across the country. On the zipper of my backpack hangs the necklace that Lam In used to wear. We're finally looking at the beautiful landscapes of our homeland that we once promised to see together. Right now, I will keep that promise for her.